Once again, I'm just clicking the fucking record button so I can get moving because I need to keep playing. This is episode 55 of The Great Ace Attorney. Let's continue. Please. If nothing else, I want to get to the next part. Like the next part of the trial that's after part 1 of the trial. I've heard enough! We've arrived at the truth about the murder of one of the country's most capable and respected police inspectors. The witness will be tried in the coming days. For a crime of such a vile nature, you can expect the most severe penalty. I don't understand why he's still hiding Strongheart then.
An exchange of assassins, what a foolhardy idea.
Mr. Jigoku, one last detail. Who was your counterpart in Britain? Who was the mastermind behind the the assassin exchange? Nothing you say now can make matters any worse for you. Just tell us! Enough!
I've already told you that I cannot say.
Even though as things stand, you may very well never set foot in your homeland again.
What are you waiting for? Can't we get this over with now? It's finished. All of it.
My voice is absolutely fried, but I just want to get to part 2 of the trial, and then I can stop.
I'm finished. Then, in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I now pronounce the findings of this court. This man before us has admitted to the willful murder of Tobias Gregson.
Are we gonna fucking summation examination this shit?
Seishiro Jigoku, it is the opinion of this court that you should be found guilty! And I may remind all those present of the strict confidentiality demanded by this close court.
Damn. Who would have thought all the way at the beginning that this guy would end up being a killer? I don't think they've done this shit before.
Moments ago, Mr. Jigoku signed a written confession, admitting to the murder of Inspector Gregson and the subsequent conveyance of the body. In short, the defendant's innocence has therefore been established beyond doubt.
Oh, wonderful! Well done, Mr. Naruhodo!
Yes, thank you.
Is something wrong?
I'm just a little troubled by his silence.
The true identity of the Reaper of the Bailey and this extraordinary assassin exchange, we do remain in the dark about these mysteries. However, insofar as the indictment brought against the defendant in this trial, we have reached a conclusion.
I have every intention of pursuing both mysteries. As a prosecutor.
As you wish! Now for the formal adjudication. I hereby declare
the defendant. Objection! The prosecution calls for adjudication to be deferred.
Counsel?
The accused's innocence hasn't been fully established at all, and therefore it would be wrong to deliver a verdict at this time. That is the prosecution's unwavering position. What?
But Judge Jigoku has already confessed!
Nevertheless, Barrick Van Zeeks has committed crimes for which he must be punished.
Well, it would appear that you have information that the court needs to hear, Prosecutor Asogi.
Certainly. The murder of Inspector Gregson was actually carried out by Seishiro Jigoku, but it's clear from the witness's testimony he was coerced into complying with the plot, into the sick, merciless assassin exchange. That may be true, but... So what I want to know is who coerced Jigoku? Who was pulling the strings? The victim went to France having been ordered on a mission for the Reaper, only to be murdered. In other words, the mastermind behind the assassin exchange is someone in a position to give such an order. As we've already established, the Reaper himself.
Well, certainly, that would appear to follow.
The prosecution hereby formally accuses the man in the dock, Barrick Van Zeeks, of being the Reaper of the Bailey, And furthermore, I'm going to prove his guilt beyond all reasonable doubt! What?!
Order! 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 The Reaper of the Bailey is a long-standing mystery, Council. Are you suggesting you have some new information with which to build a case?
Scotland Yard has already investigated Lord Van Zieks very thoroughly in that regard. And they found no evidence whatsoever to substantiate the claim that he's the Reaper.
Perhaps, but circumstances have now changed. What do you mean? It's already been established that the Assassin Exchange was negotiated with Jigoku by the Reaper himself, which means we now have a new line of questioning by which to identify definitively the man's identity. That is the prosecution's intention here.
I must say I'm surprised. Like quite how tenaciously you appear to want to besmirch my name.
You are guilty of an unforgivable crime, Lord Van Zieks. And I will bring you to justice for it, whatever it takes! That explains Kazuma's silence before. He'll stop at nothing to finish what Lord Van Zieks unwittingly started 10 years ago now.
Very well. While it's extremely irregular, I will on this occasion grant the prosecution further opportunity for witness testimony. The defense will disclose any and all involvement. The defendant will disclose any and all involvement he had with the Reaper in the Assassin Exchange.
I thank you, my lord, for guiding the court so wisely.
I hereby declare this court to be in session for a supplementary hearing.
It's crazy.
Pray turn a blind eye to the discourtesy as I verify that this vile and unremitting accusation hasn't soured the contents of my hallowed chalice.
Lord Van Zieks!
I first had to suffer the pseudonym of the Reaper 10 years ago now, and ever since that time I've endured the weight of implied guilt that's gone with it. So I welcome the chance to testify now, and crush those allegations once and for all.
Good. Then let justice decide, Lord Van Zieks. The prosecution seeks to begin building its case by calling the accused to the stand as the primary witness, in order that he may answer the accusation brought by the prosecution that he is the Reaper of the Bailey.
And what says the defense?
Putting the defendant in the witness stand can be extremely dangerous. And Kazuma-sama is so emotional at the moment, he's not thinking logically.
You're right that he's not himself, but I knew it would be like this. And I came here today determined to face him through whatever might arise, as a lawyer and as his friend.
Then that's what we must do.
The defense has no objection, my lord.
Very well! Defendant, you will take the witness stand and give formal testimony on the subject of your involvement with the Reaper and the Assassin Exchange.
As you wish, my lord. I've never taken the life of another, nor have I instructed another to kill. I've been investigating the truth behind the Reaper for years, and I was aware of Gregson's involvement. That's the reason why I went to Fresno Street that day, and how I came to discover the body. The point is, no common thread exists between myself, Gregson, and Dr. Wilson. Clearly, therefore, there's no reason to suspect me of being behind the Assassin Exchange.
It's a load of bullshit, actually.
So you deny all accusations by the prosecution, both that you are the Reaper of the Bailey and that you masterminded the Assassin Exchange.
I acknowledge that the public at large believe me to be the Reaper. However, that's a fallacy which I alone am in a position to forswear.
Naturally, the prosecution believes the testimony given by the accused to be untrue. Rinosuke Naruhodo. Yes? Let me ask you, why are you here? What really brings you to this courtroom? A desire to uncover the truth. Even if the truth proves your client to be guilty. From all my experiences in this courtroom, I've come to realize something. The truth can't be hidden. Sooner or later, it will come out. so it's always my intention to work with my client in pursuit of the truth. I want you to remember what you just said.
Enough dilatory chatter! Counsel for the defense, proceed to cross-examine the witness!
Yes, my lord. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kazuma. I know you're just waiting to point it out. The contradiction you're convinced lies somewhere within this man's testimony, which I also am already aware of.
God, my voice is so fried. This is like the last episode today, for sure.
I need to present Clint's autopsy report.
Objection! What is this? An autopsy report? Wait, this is 10 years old. From the autopsy of Lord Clint Van Zeeks!
What? My brother's autopsy report?
I'm pleased to see the defense doesn't intend to run from the undeniable truth. My fucking voice is fried, dude.
Order in the court! What reason do you have for presenting a 10-year-old autopsy report here, counsel?
This, the autopsy report of the professor's final victim, is an indelible link between Inspector Gregson, Dr. Wilson, and the defendant.
Not that accursed name again, the professor.
I've personally researched all of the court records relating to that case. I know that at the time, autopsy was considered sacrilege to the victim's souls. And for a member of the aristocracy like Lord Clint Van Zeeks, it was unthinkable. But someone implored the powers that be to allow the autopsy to go ahead, Inspector Gregson. He declared that he was certain he would obtain conclusive proof from that procedure.
And it was Dr. Wilson who conducted the autopsy. His signature is clearly visible on the document. As promised by Gregson, the autopsy did indeed produce evidence. Evidence that conclusively proved Genshin Isogi was guilty of the murders. In my brother's dying moments, he mustered all his remaining strength to leave that vital clue behind.
Indeed, that was the key to indicting the professor for his crimes and the conclusive evidence that convicted him. It enabled Lord Van Zeeks here to avenge his brother's senseless death, with a marvelous victory in court.
A marvelous victory, was it? I wonder if that's really true.
What?
Could the same be said if it turned out that the key piece of evidence in question was in fact fabricated? If the inspector, the coroner, and the prosecutor all colluded together to cast an innocent Japanese man as a mass murderer and send him to his death?
That's outrageous!
And now, 10 years later, for some reason the secret has been threatened and needs protecting. Which is why the inspector and the coroner had to be silenced, isn't it? By someone in power in Japan and in Britain, using the two killers recruited for the assassin exchange.
Order at once!
10 years ago now, my father was convicted in this very courtroom as a mass murderer, to be sentenced to death. But it was all a sham, and I swore myself that I'd prove it, which is why I had to come to Britain, whatever the cost!
You'll have to forgive me if I feel compelled to toast this vengeful Nipponese's tenacity of purpose here. However, he who fails to quash his emotions in the courtroom has failed as a lawyer.
Come on, Kazuma, you know this won't wash! You're claiming your father was misrepresented in a trial that took place a whole decade ago! You must see that without evidence, there's nothing more than a wild accusation! As it happens, I have evidence. What? As the court has heard, I crossed the channel to France with Gregson on the 31st. I went with him on the pretext of being the assassin recruited to kill Seishiro Jigoku. But my true intentions were to make the inspector tell me the truth.
What truth?
The truth about the evidence, and he acknowledged what I'd already deduced. There's a closely guarded secret about what went on in the autopsy 10 years ago.
What? A secret? I know nothing of any secret.
While we waited for my supposed mark in Jigoku's cabin, I drew my clan's illustrious sword, Karuma, before the inspector's eyes. He very quickly understood what my true motive was.
Right, I see. You're that Asaki's young lad, are you? And what, you gonna cut me down with that thing, is that it?
That will very much depend on the answers you give to my questions. I want to know what really happened 10 years ago. The truth, that's all.
Before we get into it, let me make one thing clear. I still believe your father was a professor. There's no doubt in my mind. But unfortunately back then, we didn't have the evidence we needed to make the crime stick.
So you admit it then? The evidence used in my father's trial was fabricated?
It was for the good of the country. Anyway, I was just following orders.
Orders? What exactly did you do? Speak!
I'm not saying another word.
Even if your life depends on it?
That's right. Even then.
So that's when the tip of the sword broke.
Oh, Kazuma-sama.
If the results of Clint Van Zeek's autopsy were fabricated, then the investigating officer, Gregson, and the lead coroner, Wilson, must have known about it. And it can only have been ordered to pervert the course of justice in that way by one man. The man leading the case for the prosecution, Barak Van Zeeks.
In other words, the defendant did have cause to organize this exchange of assassins!
Exactly. And as was established earlier, it has to have been the Reaper himself who liaised with Jigoku in Japan to arrange the exchange. Oh. So it follows that the Reaper's true identity can only be that of the man who stands accused in this courtroom today, Barak Van Zeeks. But Van Zeeks was not the original prosecutor.
Kazuma Asogi.
What?
What you've just told the court. Are you absolutely certain of your facts? Did Gregson really fabricate evidence for that trial 10 years ago?
I heard it with my own ears. A shameful admission.
In that case, I know. The name of the Reaper.
What? Lord Van Zeeks?
I gave no such orders. I know that for certain. Which narrows down the remaining possibilities to one.
If Lord Van Zeeks isn't the one behind this, then yes, there's only one other person who could have done something like that. I believe I know who it is too. You. I just had a feeling this name was going to come up. The true identity of the infamous Reaper of the Bailey is... Maria! No. Change that! The whole time. The only person who could have arranged the assassin exchange and manipulated the autopsy results is the Lord Chief Justice himself! Lord Miles Strongheart! Whoa! Lord Strongheart? Yes, it's true that 10 years ago the defendant handled the prosecution of the professor in court, but he only took over the case after his brother, Lord Clint Van Zeeks, had been killed.
I can only assume that this is the most inappropriate joke in British judicial history!
Well, Lord Van Zeeks?
10 years ago, I was very new to my profession, but I had a burning desire to avenge my brother's death, so I pleaded for control of the case. The investigation to that point, the supplication of the lords allowed my brother's corpse to be examined. All the evidence I was given, the autopsy reports, it came from you. I've spent my life since then believing I was in your debt for the way you stood aside and let me handle the trial. But I see now. I was very much mistaken.
It was a hugely influential force that caused the inspector and coroner to break the law 10 years ago. And that same force was still felt a decade later on the other side of the world by Seishiro Jigoku. Lord Strongheart! Everything falls into place when we recognize that you are the Reaper of the Bailey! Oh, we're so fucked he's the judge.
The court awaits your response, my lord! This may very well go down in British judicial history, but I assure you, it is no joke! Consider this a formal accusation by the defense!
It doesn't warrant a response! A formal accusal? Don't be absurd! The defense's claims are utter nonsense! A wild fantasy at best!
You're not going to defend yourself?
You claim there was some wrongdoing with Lord Clint Van Zieks' autopsy? That's utterly untrue!
Objection!
But I heard it from Gregson's own lips. He admitted to it.
And where is your evidence?
What?
Gregson's dead now, unless you were thinking of summoning a ghost to the stand.
You mean to say...
I forget how judicial systems work in your little backwater country! But in the courts of the British Empire, without evidence there is no case! I have no intention of entertaining some wild fantasy that can't possibly be substantiated by anyone or anything! Ah! Order! Order in court! Following Inspector Gregson's murder and in the light of Dr. Wilson's death as well, there's really no one left who could testify about the events of 10 years ago. Is there?
So that was the real purpose of the assassin exchange.
This court has no business raking over the coals of a case that was concluded a decade ago. The accusal brought by the prosecution and the defense is categorically denied. I take it there are no objections.
Kazuma, he's more or less waited his whole life for this moment. Is there really nothing else we can do now? Is there no other avenue we can go down in pursuit of the truth about what happened all those years ago? If only there was someone who could testify. There is someone! He's gone to extraordinary lengths to cover his tracks, even so far as dispatching an assassin all the way to Japan to ensure Dr. Wilson's silence. And Dr. Scythe won't say anything against Strongheart. But there's still one ray of hope. Actually, there is one person who could still testify about that autopsy.
Don't be ridiculous! There's no one left!
Who, Rinosuke? Who? Tell me! Kazuma, Please! This trial can't end! Not yet! I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the truth. The person who the defense would like to call to the stand is...
Take that!
Eugene Mikotoba.
Heaven help us! Another Japanese!
An expert in forensic medicine, my lord. Professor Eugene Mikotoba. 16 years ago. He came to London with Seishiro Jigoku and Genshin Isogi as a visiting student.
And what could his testimony possibly tell us?
Professor Mikotoba was the primary assistant during the autopsy in question. He was also the person who actually penned the report.
Incorrect! The autopsy was carried out by the coroner, Dr. Wilson. The report carries his signature.
It was the primary assistant's duty to keep a written record of the coroner's work during the procedure. In actual fact, the coroner merely read over the report at the end and signed it.
In other words, Professor Mikotoba witnessed the entire autopsy from start to finish. The defense demands that Professor Mikotoba to be summoned as a witness as a matter of urgency. Whatever really happened in the autopsy laboratory 10 years ago is something that only he can tell us.
The defense's demand is denied.
What?
But Professor Mikotoba is in London at this very moment! We can summon him to the stand in minutes!
No, of course he's not going to agree to it. Strongheart has no intention of summoning anyone who knows. He's too concerned about protecting himself.
Prosecutor Asogi, let me refresh your memory as you seem to have forgotten the prosecution's stance. Only minutes ago you accused the defendant of being the Reaper and of masterminding the assassin exchange.
I did, yes.
So present your evidence for those claims and make your case complete!
At this time, I don't have the requisite evidence, but that's exactly why we need witness testimony.
The professor case is closed. There are no clues in the distant past that will bolster your argument today. I'm afraid to say, Prosecutor Asogi, that you would appear to be possessed by the spirit of your late homicidal father! Now, as I stated earlier, this court has already reached a conclusion with respect to the matter at hand. Inspector Gregson was murdered by Japanese Supreme Court Judge Seishiro Goku. As for any hidden circumstances that may exist, they will be investigated in due course by the proper authorities.
But we all know what will happen. That'll just give the mastermind of the whole venture time to cover his tracks again.
By which you mean me. Your punishment for this contemptible behavior will be decided at a later date. As for you, Prosecutor Asogi, you will be remanded Jesus Christ. You will be remanded following these proceedings. Willingly, I trust, since you gave your word. This futile game of revenge is over, young Master Asogi. That will be all! Hold it!
What could this be?
Hold it!
Mr. Sholmes!
This is no place for amateur detection, Mr. Sholmes. May I remind you that these proceedings are closed to the general public. You will leave the courtroom at once.
Mr. Sholmes was instrumental in the apprehension of Seiichiro Jigoku before he fled from Europe. The court should hear what he has to say!
Lord Bale Strongheart, it's imperative that you refrain from bringing this trial to an end at this stage.
Is it really? And why would that be?
You need only recall your own words from the opening of the trial to answer that question, if I may. You will stop at nothing to uncover the whole truth behind these disturbing findings. Surely it can't be that the shock of being accused of being the Reaper yourself has erased that from your memory, can it?
The whole truth, sir, has already been uncovered!
It would seem that we have a great many important members of the judiciary present here today. I put it to you, my dear fellows, should the trial end at this juncture? After all, why should you have been invited to attend? To nod along to the provocations of your superiors?
Order! Order in court!
It seems to me that we stand before a door that leads to a new era of legal practices. A door that is ajar. That has emerged from the shadows of the Reaper's decade-long ascendancy. For you and you alone, my dear fellows, have the power to push this door open now.
The auditors in the gallery have no right to express an opinion on court proceedings. Silence! It's I. The judge has an absolute authority here. Yes, if he calls the trial to an end, it must end. But what that really do? I then start things behind the scenes. Is there a single person present who can also say he doesn't sense the same?
What?
The trial should go on! Summon the witnesses! That's right, we need to clear this up before that young Japanese fellow was remanded.
My lord, you assured those present would uncover the whole truth here! Vindicate yourself of this outlandish accusation! The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth! That's the very foundation of British law!
A toast to my dependable colleagues in the gallery.
On with the trial! On with the trial! Testify! Testify! Testify!
Well, my lord, you hear the voice of British justice, I take it? I think you'll find it will be rather awkward to silence.
The court will recess briefly. I have no intention of shrinking from these allegations. Bailiff! Arrange for the subpoena of the witness at once! As soon as the gentleman arrives in the courthouse, we shall reconvene.
A recess won't be necessary, my lord.
Pardon?
Migatoba is a close friend of mine. He accompanied me today and is waiting in the antechamber as we speak. I do believe he's enjoying a little trip down memory lane, in fact.
What? Professor Migatoba's here in the courthouse? Mr. Sholmes, you didn't know this would happen, did you?
My dear fellow, no one is in a better position to answer that question than you, surely?
I wasn't just asking for the fun of it, you know.
Well, I must thank you for your assistance in this matter, Mr. Sholmes. However, you are of no further use here. Kindly leave the courtroom at once.
But of course, in truth, I find myself rather busy now as a result of these developments. Mr. Naruhodo!
Yes?
I trust that you have Iris's little lucky charm with you.
Absolutely! It's still in my pocket.
She sends her regards. And a reminder, if you find yourself at a death end, the ear's at your disposal. Just one tug, if you please.
Of course!
In that case, the trial will continue without delay. Bailiff, show the witness to the stand.
So it's Lord Strongheart. He's the Reaper of the Bailey. Where exactly is this trial going to take me, I wonder? Just how deep am I going to be plunged into the blackness of the abyss? Well, I'm ready. I'm ready to head into the heart of this maelstrom and confront whatever horrors it tries to drown me under. Maelstrom was the word he used. I misspoke. To be continued. I want you to know I feel absolutely nauseous after all of that. We are saving the game. And I'm going to end the episode. Thank you so much for watching. We will continue. Let me just take a peek at the... Holy shit. Okay, so... 1, 2... It actually doesn't seem like there's that much. We could probably finish this like tomorrow morning or some shit. For now, I am going to end the episode. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.